I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Oops, the podcast. I am Julio. I'm sitting next to my old pal.
Old pals.
Francis.
Old friends.
How you doing, dude?
Sat on the park bench like bookends. Newspaper blown through the grass. You know that song?
I
Simon
don't.
and Garfunkel?
I don't know it.
All right.
Which one? I mean, I might. I don't know. What song is
It's
it?
called Old Friends.
Oh, I don't think I do.
Can you imagine us years from today sharing a park bench quietly? How terribly strange to be 70.
Oh,
Old
wow.
friends. It's a great song.
That sounds very
Give
nice.
it a listen.
Sounds lovely.
Yeah. Nice.
So dude, I have a question for you.
Great.
Is there, I know you guys are doing a bunch of these destination weddings, having a blast, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Is there ever, it's completely inappropriate to propose to somebody at somebody else's
That's
wedding,
a
right?
great question. It's a great question. I don't know the answer to that.
Like, is it the same as being a girl at the wedding and wearing white?
Okay. So I have a thought about it, but I don't know if I'm right. In fact, I would guess that I'm wrong.
Okay.
You go to these weddings for a couple days. My thought is that you could propose a couple of days before the wedding by yourselves, not in front of anyone, and then just not really announce it until after the wedding.
Oh, interesting. That is like a very specific way of doing that, which I agree. Because like the idea that you are stealing the thunder of the people getting married is a real thing.
Yeah, but they've also invited you to a place where you should be proposing.
Right. See, that's the other thing. It's like gorgeous and you know what I mean?
Like, we're going to have our wedding in the most beautiful, most romantic place on earth.
Totally.
And we want you to be here for multiple days.
Totally. Which is interesting because by doing that, you can potentially inspire a couple different things. One of them, of course, being a proposal. But another thing is it could inspire a honeymoon.
What do you mean?
Like you're in Positano or you're in Lake Como or whatever, and it's gorgeous. And like, you could easily be like, this is where I want to have my honeymoon type of thing.
Yeah, but having a honeymoon there
Right.
would be fine.
Not controversial, but I'm just saying like you can, in these romantic scenarios, it's good fodder for your own decision. So
Yeah.
for example, even if you're not going to propose at someone else's wedding, because that would be insane.
Okay, so that is the answer. It
I
would be
think
insane.
I think we can agree.
I
that's a
agree. I
crazy
think.
move.
Well, I also think that for the two of you, you do this proposal, and then you're instantly overshadowed by the fact that this couple is having their massive wedding.
Dude, it's a crazy move. But you might get inspiration because you know the rehearsal dinner might be overlooking the water from a cliff, and you might be like, "This is the type of place I want to propose. It's so beautiful." Or
Well,
something.
okay. I mean, an extension of this is something that I don't really understand, which is when inevitably after a big wedding weekend, your Instagram feed will be completely clogged with every single person who attended the wedding posting photos of themselves, of the couple
Mhm.
in their nice outfits, all done up, everyone, whatever. Now, a lot of the time, I will see people post who were at the wedding only a photo of themselves. And then they'll say, we had a blast celebrating the wonderful so-and-so, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
I think that if you went to someone's wedding and you're going to post on Instagram about the weekend, it's fine to have a photo of yourself and your date, but you have to have a photo of the couple as well.
Interesting.
Because it's otherwise it's just
I've never thought of that.
Here I am looking nice.
Looking good. Yeah.
Some vague
I've definitely
nod
done
to the
that.
fact that the wedding couple put the whole thing together.
Mm-hmm. I do you think that people think about that? That's the first I've ever heard of it. I mean,
I don't know if anyone does, and I don't even know if a wedding couple would be offended by people who did that. But personally, when I see it, I'm like, this wasn't about you.
Right.
You were a guest, and you should be honoring them.
Right.
And just posting a photo of yourself and your date is not doing that. You're
Yeah.
turning this into something about you.
I don't know. It doesn't bug me that much necessarily. I mean,
Bugs
it depends. Like if you're not that close to them, like why the fuck would you post?
Well,
a thing
then
of
don't post anything at all.
Why? You got dressed up. You look good. You can still hashtag the whatevers. You know what I mean? Speaking of which, is it gonna? Are we gonna get to a point in 100 years where every hashtag is used? And now we're just like inventing words the way they do for pharmaceutical drugs. Hashtag Biktarvy.
Oh man. I want to be cynical about the wedding hashtag thing, but someone made the point to me that once you've done that, then afterwards you can click on it and you see all these great photos that
There
you
is
wouldn't have
practical
seen
application.
otherwise.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dude, totally. So to this honeymoon question, it's funny. I have never really thought much about that, about honeymoon. And it's interesting because my girlfriend and I have such differing styles for what sort of trip we enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I can get on board with the relaxing trip, you know what I mean? And I think that's probably what we would end up doing for hours.
Mm-hmm.
But have you thought about honeymoons at all?
I think a relaxing one has got to be the way.
Yeah, because the wedding's just so stressful.
Yeah, you've starved yourself for weeks. You've been dancing and entertaining. I mean, my buddy told me that when we got back from the rehearsal dinner to the hotel where everyone was the night before the wedding, that he started walking from the bus to the bar to get himself a drink, and it took him 3 hours to get to the bar.
Dude, that's crazy.
Took him 3 hours to get to the bar to get himself a drink because it's just one person after another stopping you, saying hello, having longer conversations, all that. And so that's exhausting, man.
Yeah.
That is exhausting. And by the time you're done with that, I mean, my friends went straight to Hawaii, and I cannot think of a better place to
that's
go.
A good spot.
Just go right to Hawaii.
Yeah.
And go for a good amount of time.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, my God, I don't want to go to New Zealand. I don't want to have a 17-hour flight.
Mm-hmm.
Give me Hawaii.
Hawaii's far.
We
it's
were
close.
kind of on the West Coast.
Oh, you're in California, okay.
You know, or we were in Colorado, so it's not terrible.
Not as crazy. Well, we have an email about honeymoons, and I want to see if I think we have probably covered a lot of this stuff already, but let's see. Hey guys, you've been talking about all things weddings recently. I'd love to hear you guys talk about honeymoons. A couple I know, this is funny, recently went on their honeymoon to Disney World with full-on wifey and hubby Mickey ears and matching t-shirts. Kill me. That's bad, dude. What would you consider to be the worst honeymoon, and what would your ideal honeymoon be? Warm versus cold, adventure versus relaxation, right after the wedding versus later that year, stateside versus international. Hawaii, by the way, covers the adventure and relaxation in the same thing. You can hike there, you can do all that shit. But these are good questions.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the worst thing would be a bike trip.
Why?
Because your bike trips in general don't make any sense to me. Let's go bike through the south of France for a week. We're going to bike 55 miles a day.
Yeah. It's like anything you need to take steroids before you do is not worth it.
Yeah, I mean, anything you need a water bottle for.
Right.
I don't get that. You know, the bones between your butt cheeks hurt like hell. You're too exhausted to have sex with each other.
Yeah, true.
To me, it's just, and the reason I cite the bike trip is because I feel like there are couples that would do that.
Yeah.
We're going biking through Holland,
right, biking,
during
hiking.
tulip season.
Right.
Actually sounds kind of nice.
Yeah.
But give me a Segway.
I
Give
like
me
it, the idea of it in general, but for a honeymoon,
give me a bird scooter and I'll happily ride along beside you as you bike.
Yeah. So I think that the important question here is, you could do whatever the fuck you want. You know what I mean? Like if you guys like something, go do it. But, you know, we know what we like to a degree. and we know what our girlfriends like, and it's like, how is it challenging to make those things match up into something that you both enjoy? And I think the answer is no. I think it shouldn't be that hard.
Right.
There's plenty of places to choose from. And like you said, adventure versus relaxation, there's a way to do both in an appropriate way. You don't have to go fucking climb Kilimanjaro. You know what I mean?
What's your ideal honeymoon? Where do you want to go? Gun to your head. You have to plan and book the honeymoon. You're leaving tomorrow. Where are you going?
So I honestly think that I want my girlfriend to be happy. My wife at this time.
Your wife.
I would want my wife to be
Mrs.
happy.
Gallerati.
Mrs. Gallerati. I would want her to be happy. So I would make sure to sort of do a filter. So the filter would be this. Here's all the places that I would enjoy. I would put the hill filter on it, the Hilter, which would then only put places that she would want to go, and I would pick from that list because there would be somewhere for me on that list. And it would most likely be somewhere relaxing and beautiful that I had never been to before.
Okay. So,
Maldives, maybe.
oh, wow. That's far.
I don't
Is
mind.
it?
I don't mind going far. It is far. Yeah.
That's far.
It's probably, you might as well be going to Australia.
My issue with Maldives, Australia, New Zealand, you're spending 2 days kind of traveling there.
Out of 10, is it that big of a deal to sacrifice 2 days?
I would like to, I'm all about relaxing.
Think about how many days there are, bro.
What do you mean? What in of the year?
Yes, there's 365 days in 1 year. You can't give one
You're
of them up
talking about
to go to
vacation
Australia.
days.
I know.
She doesn't have a ton.
But it's your fucking honeymoon, dude. You get tons for your
Do you
honeymoon.
get a pass kind of?
Yes.
No, you got to take the paid time off though.
Maybe,
Still?
but it's your honeymoon. It's the most important thing.
People do companies tend to be more it's like maternity leave and then honeymoon.
Yeah, dude,
number
literally.
2.
Literally.
But you know what?
Death maybe comes above, but death you don't need as
No,
many days.
you don't get as many days off to grieve as you do.
Right, but you don't need them
for a
But you're
honeymoon.
Right, you're right. It's different ways to. It depends how you're measuring it.
People wish you well when you go on a honeymoon. They say
I know.
enjoy
Have
it.
fun.
They mean it. There's no
Totally.
boss who thinks says it, but actually means like this person's not working that hard. This is coming out of their Christmas bonus.
Dude, totally.
Now, this is a new thing, the mini moon. Have you heard about this?
I can imagine where you're going with it.
Have you
but
heard
I
about
haven't,
this
I haven't,
phenomenon?
I haven't.
It's couples that say, well, we don't have the time right now to take the true honeymoon that we had
Yeah.
planned to take. So we're just going to do a quick week.
Weekend to a week. A week's a lot.
Dude, it's a week. They take
a
a
mini
week.
moon's a week. So is a honeymoon 2 weeks?
For a lot of people.
Wow.
Now, again,
Dude,
this
how is a
could just
honeymoon
be-
not a week?
This
That's
could
crazy.
just be in my circle of friends.
Okay.
Or the world that I live in. But
I thought mini moon was like a long weekend. I thought that's where you're going with mini moon.
I'm with you for exactly the same reason.
Okay.
I think that if I
Mini moon, my ass. That's like American sizing. It's like when you get a small and it's
Exactly.
this fucking giant.
I am of the mindset that first of all, you should take your honeymoon immediately after the wedding. Because a lot of people will put it off. And that's why they do these mini moons. They're like, well, we wanted to celebrate a little bit, but we have so much going on at work.
Yeah.
Can't take all that much time off.
Yeah.
So
I
we're
agree
gonna
with you.
fuck off to wherever for 5 days.
I agree. Take it right after.
And so yeah. We've gotten away from that though.
Yeah. Yeah, we have.
People don't necessarily take their honeymoon. My old radio co-host, Willie Colon, took his honeymoon a year after they got married.
Yeah, dude, it's such a disservice to rob yourself of the momentum of wedding romance.
To me, it really solidifies this marriage moment.
Totally.
And it gives you a chance to celebrate as yourselves. Plus, the hotel pampers you, man.
Yeah, it's great.
You are the newlyweds.
Totally.
You're
It's the
staying in the
best.
honeymoon suite. Here's a free drink. Here's a hot towel. We've given you a 20% discount on her massage.
Yeah, now go put
Want a surfing lesson? Here you go.
go put a baby in that ass.
That's right there. Butt baby.
Dude.
All right, you said Maldives.
I guess I think that is a place that we could come together on because I've been to a lot of places. She wants to go somewhere, I think, where there's beach and relaxation.
Yeah.
And I'm totally down for that too. And now that we are going to be able to allocate enough time And why not go somewhere far? That's what I think. And it's actually a time where I would want to go somewhere far.
Got it.
What about you?
Yeah. I mean, it's tricky for me,
Mhm.
but my thought is, and let's say that money were no object, right?
Okay.
Some super luxurious place in like St. Bart's or something,
Yeah. Yeah.
or Hawaii, frankly.
Yeah. Yeah. Solid.
I that's kind of the speed I'm at.
I like it. I mean, yeah. Yeah. I like it. I like it, dude.
You ever heard of these Iman Yara places?
Yeah. They're sick.
Have you ever been to one?
No.
Yeah,
They're so dope, though.
but it's offensively expensive.
I know.
What are they?
The Amman
The
Resorts.
Amman resorts, yeah, they're nuts.
They're fucking sick. They're like the height. I mean,
it's the most expensive
Yeah.
kind of height of luxury, but $28 cocktails,
Dude, I'm
$35
gonna be
chicken
honest.
sandwiches.
Hillary sends me Instagrams of Amman Resorts all the time. I wouldn't be surprised if that was like one of her top options for her honeymoon.
Yeah,
Bless her heart.
I think it's like you $2,000 a day type of thing.
It's real. It's really
I
expensive,
think it's $2,000 a day,
but they're fucking dope.
yeah.
Also, dude, I wouldn't hate going to like a canyon ranch, like some fire destination spa.
That'd be cool.
That sounds cool.
Yep.
Just in general.
You're a huge spa guy.
Love the spa.
Yeah,
You know what else I'm a huge guy for?
I have a feeling I can guess.
Magic Spoon cereal.
Would you bring a couple boxes with you to that ranch?
You bet your ass I would.
Yeah, you'd pack them, wouldn't you?
In the spirit of keeping healthy, you got it, dude.
Yeah, that's it.
It's
Yeah.
just absolutely delicious.
Cleansing the soul.
We love Magic Spoon cereal. 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving. 140 calories per serving, baby.
I finished my box of the waffle.
Oh, the maple waffle. They're
Maple
delicious.
waffle. I finished it.
As you know already, keto friendly, gluten free, grain free, soy free, low carb. It's nothing. You're just eating nothing.
You're eating pure health.
You're just eating.
You're
But dude,
eating more years into your life.
to your point, the cookies and cream and maple waffle flavors are now permanent.
Hey, we're back.
They were introduced for a limited time initially, but now they are here for good to go along with the other delicious flavors: cocoa, fruity, frosted, peanut butter, blueberry, and cinnamon. Go to magicspoon.com/oops. Promo code oops to save $5 off of your order. Magicspoon.com/oops. Promo code oops.
Yeah, you'll enjoy those.
Get yourself some Magic Spoon.
Get some Magic Spoon.
It's good shit.
Yeah.
What's up?
I had this. Okay. My girlfriend very nearly walked in on me jerking off.
Whoa. That's right. That's crazy.
We never talk about these types of things.
We don't.
Has that ever happened to you?
No.
Ha-
And dude, I don't want that to ever happen.
I wouldn't have wanted it to happen.
It's
I
just-
wouldn't have wanted it to.
Pulling down the veil in a way that I never want to
You
happen.
guys won't go to the bathroom if the other person is in the apartment.
Yeah, man. If for some reason we're together and that is occurring, I would make sure at all costs that she is not around for
Mhm.
it. So what happened?
Well, fortunately, I managed to, tidy things up and tuck everything away and then exit the window and then make it. I think I dodged the bullet.
You jumped out the window? Is this a metaphor?
No, the window of the material that I was perusing
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
of the old browser.
Gotcha.
Boy, this is revealing. I'm not ashamed. I'm not a weirdo. But I don't think she knew. Now, I don't think it would have been that big of a deal if she had.
Mhm.
And I don't even think I was also after the fact, I was like, was what I was watching, would that have scarred her? No, it was a very down the line thing I was watching.
generic.
But it made me think, right? And if this is too weird of a question, you can pass.
Okay.
If you were to walk in on your girlfriend masturbating,
Mm-hmm.
would you be turned on or would you feel left out?
Would I feel like insecure?
Yeah.
Oh boy. I think that I would feel both of those things. And I think that the feeling of the insecurity would like make me turned on too. Like I think they would be pegged to each other in a way. You know what I mean though? It's like this taboo thing.
Yeah.
And I think I'd be conflicted about it. I think there'd be moments where I would be like, wow, that was hot. And there would also be moments where I'd be like, fuck, like, am I not good enough? What was she thinking about? What was she looking at?
Would you think in that moment, this is an opportunity for me to offer my services? Or would you think clearly she knew that I was in the house and she could have asked me, she didn't want me. So I'm going to like let her have her privacy.
So I think a lot of that would be dependent on her reaction to me entering. Hopefully she would have a sort of like, ooh, like fancy seeing you here reaction.
I was hoping you'd come along.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was, if that were to happen, then game on for sure. If she were to like very quickly try to hide what was happening, like I have trouble imagining that I'd be able to parlay that into a hot encounter. You know what I mean?
Scrambling, knocking things over.
But if that did happen, I still think I would try to like be like, oh, what are you doing? Type of thing. You know what I mean? And then try to parlay that. So yeah, I think the answer is I would try to get in there. What about you?
I don't know. It's a tricky thing. Obviously we're dealing with hypotheticals, right? I'm under no delusion that that perhaps my girlfriend does this without me and doesn't need me or doesn't want me for certain self-exploratory moments, whatever it is. So my thought is that if she's making the conscious choice to do that without me, then it's not my place.
But that's just a very logical way to look at something that is clearly like feeling evoking. You know what I mean? Like, would you be able to be that calm and pragmatic about that? Because agreed, that makes sense. But I would still be like, damn, like I feel bad about myself.
I feel like, yeah, in the moment, I would back away and be like, oh, so sorry, as if I'd walked in on someone going to the bathroom, you know?
Right.
But then after, I don't think I would try to lay some sort of guilt trip or say like, why did you do that and without me?
Right.
I don't even know if I would need an explanation.
No, totally. Yeah, fair.
I wouldn't want to embarrass her for that. Does that make sense?
Which makes, and I think that there's a lot of people who would try to somehow like guilt trip them after that or something. Because they were insecure.
Yeah, I don't think I would. Oh gosh, I don't know. Take it personally. You're in the house, right? It's a different thing if you're away and you come, honey, I'm home, and you find her on the couch or whatever. But if you're in the house, middle of the day, she knows you're there, and she's actively chosen to do this instead.
Like, does she think you're busy or something, or does she know you're not?
I think you gotta put it down to she knows you probably would have been up for it, but she's preferring to do this. That's our scenario.
Okay.
Here. And by the way, that's not what was going on with me.
Right. Was it? It kind of was.
No, it wasn't. She was gone.
She was gone. Got it.
So, I'm fascinated by this. Yeah. I think there's a lot of sort of psycho-analyzing of this that you could do.
Dude, I don't know why this is funny to me, but there's something funny to me about you telling this story while wearing this like cowboy shirt.
I got my cowboy shirt on. I love my Western cowboy shirt.
It's a good shirt, but it's funny. Like the cowboy having his self-reflection moment.
Yeah. Man, it's funny. We don't ever talk about this kind of shit, really.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm putting myself out there. I'm putting myself in God's hands.
Well, it sounds like it wasn't. Well, at first you weren't discovered.
No.
So you think? Is there a chance that she just didn't want to embarrass you?
No, because we immediately moved into a topic, a conversation that was so out of left field that we couldn't have gotten there if she had witnessed what was happening.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
I have a question that's not exactly related, but it's since we're on this sort of topic. Have you ever heard of this expression? I have a feeling that you're going to say you have not, but have you ever heard of the idea that there's a time frame in a woman's life that's a little later than her early years where she becomes much more interested in the idea of anal sex?
Oh my God.
The quote, age of anal.
I have not heard about this. I don't know anything about this. What is this about?
I've just heard that, like, and I don't know if this is true. Like, I remember when I was younger, people always just say that. They'd be like, oh yeah, she was a little older. And people would be like, oh, did you guys do anal? Because older girls who are a little bit older are much more into that. They're more comfortable with sex stuff and they like know more about themselves and they've sort of gone down that road already and know that they like it and are more willing to kind of want to do it.
Huh. I don't know anything. This is all news to me.
So maybe it's not a thing. Maybe it's just like,
Well, no, what do I know? I'm an idiot.
if anybody has any insight on this, I'd be curious to hear.
Yeah.
Open a
The
can of worms
days
here.
for me of my anal curiosity have come and gone.
You're just not that interested in it.
Not at all.
Mhm.
Once upon a time I was,
Uh-huh.
but that's when you're a kid, you're younger and you want to just try everything.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
know, your appetite, you want the buffet.
Mhm.
And then you kind of get older for me, and I feel like I've learned what I like,
Mhm.
kind of what I don't, and
The high maintenance experience.
I don't
as well.
have any. I don't know.
It just revolves. It requires a lot of preparation. It kind of takes away the sort of spontaneous sex
Doesn't
act.
sound like fun. I think part of it too for me is putting myself in the woman's position, and it just feels like it would be the most uncomfortable thing on
But
earth.
that's just an assumption. You know what I mean? Like from what I understand, can be people really like it.
With all these older women with the bigger buttholes,
I don't know
big
what the
old
logistics
balloon
are,
butts.
but and even in sex ed and stuff. I don't know if they teach this in sex ed, but like it's a thing you learned about how sensitive the area is, and if done right, it's really great and stuff. Like I don't know, and I've heard of people being like saying that they love it
Are you as uncomfortable as I am talking about sex on our podcast?
a little bit.
Isn't that weird? I feel like when we first started, we weren't, but now we don't do that anymore.
We don't do that much,
And
It's true.
so it's fascinating to me because a lot of our contemporaries and our dear friends in podcasting
talk
talk
about
about
it a
sex
lot.
constantly.
That's true. We don't do it that much.
No. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you about that.
Okay, well, I have a hypothetical for you. I have a hypothetical for you.
Okay.
And tell me if you've ever heard this one. There was this debate. People would be like, "Oh, would you rather like have this or that?" Like one of those kind of situations.
Yeah.
And it's a desert island scenario. So you're stranded on a desert island, and half of you, which half of yourself would you want to be a mermaid?
Oh my God.
The upper half or the bottom half? Also, I don't necessarily think the desert island is that important in this question. I think it can just be in general. If you were a mermaid, would you rather have the bottom half or the top half? And I got to be honest, man, answering the top half is the craziest thing I've ever. You just want
So what, you're a fish
your head
from the
is
waist up?
Yes, your head is that of a fish.
Yeah, that doesn't make any
It's so stupid.
There's no scenario where that's better.
It's so stupid. Like you can still have sex when you're a mer person.
Yeah, but here's
Immersion.
why the stranded on the desert island thing matters, right?
Okay.
Because you cannot get around that island if you don't have legs. If your bottom half is merman,
Hmm.
that stupid flipper,
Yeah,
once you're on land,
that's true.
what are you doing?
That's really true. You're super amphibious if you're waist up. Like you can go swimming and breathe underwater and fucking, catch fish and stuff.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And there's not gonna be anybody on the island anyway. So you're not having sex.
But then it begs the question, if you're just a half merman anyway, then would you ever leave the water?
Also, couldn't you just swim home? Like,
yeah.
right? Couldn't you just swim home?
And if that's the case, I got to believe I'm going tail, because that'll get you there faster than just having a wiggly top fin body type thing.
And also, if you're a mer person, if you're a mermaid, can you breathe underwater? Like, do you have gills?
Yeah, you've got gills.
Oh, so then I don't know about this, dude. I don't know about this one.
I don't either, man. I don't either.
And and also, when you arrived on the desert island, were you already one or the other, or by being on the desert island, somehow you've transformed into half of one or the other? I think that there's an assumption that you were half always.
Yes.
Which maybe it's a blessing to live on this desert island in a more sort of an ecosystem that fits more of what you've been given by God, as opposed to going to high school and being a fucking mer person. You can't even talk. You go to mer school? You go to fish school? Where the fuck do you go? Well, you don't do, your life sucks if you're not on an island. It's a blessing to be on that island.
Yeah, I don't think being a mer person's fun at all.
Which sounds stupid.
No.
And terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It's no good.
Well, one thing's for sure. If you're going to end up on a desert island, chances are people are going to think you're dead.
They will. They'll worry.
And your loved ones will be able to cash in on that life insurance policy.
Huge.
That you hopefully have for yourself.
Yeah, they'll be glad that you're dead.
And if you're going to do that, we recommend that you go ahead and get yourself a policy at policygenius.com.
Policygenius.com.
It is not an insurance company. It is a marketplace, for a place where you will be able to find the competitive plan for yourself. And the people that work for Policygenius work for you. They do not work for the insurance company. So they will be trying to get you the best possible deal. They will review plans from over a dozen top insurers. You could save 50% or more, or even up to $1,300 per year by using Policygenius. So you should head over to policygenius.com, and in minutes, you'll be able to work out how much life insurance coverage you need and compare personalized quotes to find your best price. So go to Policygenius, that's one word, policygenius.com, and you get started right now. When it comes to insurance, it's nice to get it right.
That's it. Wow.
Very nice.
Nice.
Very nice.
Julio.
Dude, so I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow. I know they're going to ask me to pee in a cup. And I was curious about this. When you pee in the cup,
Yeah.
do you fill up the whole cup? Or do you just go to like the line? Like, is it a savage move to fill up the entire cup with pee?
Yeah, that's a little odd.
Is it
dude.
crazy? Do you think people think that they're being helpful by providing more pee, that like it'll be easier to take a sample? Like, that's kind of like a reasonable deduction to make, even though it's probably not the case.
I do sometimes think that. And you know what also is amazing to me? Is that for some reason, even when I've just peed and I think to myself, I don't have to pee at all. As soon as I have that cup in my hand, I've got pee.
That's true.
It comes from somewhere.
That's true.
I don't know where.
It's amazing.
Like a magical, secret bag of pee in my stomach somewhere, just for that occasion.
So, dude, it's funny. I know. So my new doctor doesn't accept, I weighed myself today, this is how much I weigh. They make me get on the scale.
Oh, they always do that to me too.
Yeah. So my old doctor, I would just tell them how much I weighed, because a lot of things would annoy me about going to the doctor. A, they make me do it with my clothes on. So I weigh more than I actually do, and I'm all depressed. If it's an afternoon appointment, I'm full of food, way more than I normally do. I'm all depressed. So I've tried to take all these things out of the equation. So this is what I do now. I always make my appointments in the morning, and I do cardio for an hour and then steam afterward.
Dude, what the hell?
And then when I
man?
go to the doctor, I wear shoes that I can easily take off, and I remove them, and I wear shorts and the lightest t-shirt that I have.
Why do you care so much what your doctor thinks that you weigh?
I care about how much I think that I weigh.
And somehow the doctor's number is more valid to you than what you get from your own scale?
No, because the number is the number, and that's it. And if the number's higher than what I know it is, I somehow feel like I'm backtracking, and it makes me depressed, and it makes me not want to exercise.
You're not able to contextualize that you are wearing heavier shoes and you haven't, you've eaten and all that?
No, it's harder for me, because then I'm like, am I just in denial? Which then begs the question, I sometimes worry that I'm not going to be able to pee because of how dehydrated I'm going to be when I walk
Jesus, man. That's crazy.
Dude, I had an appointment scheduled for yesterday afternoon. I actually rescheduled it to tomorrow morning because I was thinking about all this.
This is very neurotic of you. I don't hear too much neurotic behavior from you.
It's
and
just
this
true.
Is very neurotic.
It's true. Like I weighed myself last week. I was very pleased with the number. It was lower than what I weighed going into the pandemic.
Wow.
Which made me feel, thank you. Which made me feel very happy. And I was like, finally, this dark moment hopefully is behind me. for good.
Mm-hmm.
But if I were to go into the doctor and weigh, 5 pounds more, which could easily happen if you've done it if you're doing it in the afternoon with a bunch of clothes on, etc., I'm not willing to take that risk. So I rescheduled for the morning when I can go in there completely dehydrated, like I'm trying to make weight for a fucking title bout.
Well, it's funny you bring this up because we were trying to figure out how to get home to Maine for a few days.
Nice.
And
You figured it out?
Well, yeah. It's the easiest flight in the world.
Yeah.
But we've got Kojai.
Mm.
And my girlfriend desperately wants him to come.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't want us to leave him with a friend. And because she thinks he deserves it. She thinks he deserves
He loves
Maine.
it up there?
So she says, he doesn't really enunciate his feelings too much. We project so much onto the dog, and is he happier up in Maine? Who knows? I think we think he is because we are, and you're out in the woods, and he's got a fuller day.
We have decided for dogs as the human race that they like to run around in nature.
Yeah,
we've decided that for them.
Right. So, he's coming, right?
And you're driving.
So we bought a carrier that we can sort of stuff him into for the airplane. And there are a number of airlines that you can pay some nominal fee and bring your dog aboard.
What's nominal? $100?
Yeah, it varies, 100 to 150.
It's not super nominal.
No, it's not nominal, but
worth it.
And so first of all, we tested out the carrier and we put him in it. I close it, right? I close this netting thing over the top, this zipper top over Kojai's head. He's in the bag. And you think that he'll naturally lie down because his head is pushing against the ceiling of the bag. But he doesn't. And he just sits there being like, why are you imprisoning me in a bag? And we're like, oh, fuck, he hates it. All right, well, whatever. But then we go on the Delta website and ask them about bringing the dog on the flight. And they were like, yeah, you're allowed to do it. $150. Dogs have to be less than 20 pounds. And Kojai is 27 pounds.
What?
So immediately I start thinking like, okay, could I put a trash bag over him and put him on the Peloton
Put him in a sauna.
somehow and get him to make weight for this flight? Like, is there a way? Can I slip him some fucking,
some laxatives
and really trim him down just for the weigh-in and then feed him plenty. We'll rehydrate him. We'll get him back to speed. But like, is there a way to get a dog to make weight? Has anyone ever had to do that?
That is funny.
Yeah.
That sucks, man. Because like you said, Kojai deserves it. But like, does he deserve to be fucking tortured before getting it? Or would he prefer to just stay here and not have to, like you said, because you like New Zealand, but you don't like going there.
Right.
The same way maybe Kojai likes Maine, but not if he has to go in a cage.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So we are driving.
Oh, man.
That's what's happening.
And what is that, like 12 hours or something?
No, it's not that bad. It's a 5.5 hour drive.
That's not bad at all.
It's a 45-minute flight.
Yeah.
That's a big difference.
Do you know what's funny? I've looked into flying to Connecticut to visit my parents because of how annoying the way that I go to visit them now is without a car, because I have to take a train and then I have to get picked up, and then there's a 45-minute drive after and it's just annoying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, why don't I just fly? Like, that's just way more chill, and it's closer. The airport's actually closer to my parents' house.
What's the airport?
Bradley International Airport.
Where is that?
It's technically Hartford, but it's more in I think it's in Granby. It's like northern Connecticut near Massachusetts, but like near Hartford. And it's an international airport. And honestly, like the logic doesn't actually end up adding up, because I still like if I have to Uber from there to my parents' house, I think it's a little less expensive than Ubering from the train station. But the train, it's just as inconvenient. But dude, there's no direct flights. So in order to do that, you have to fly to Orlando. And it's $700. So it's like completely not. It's just too close. Like, why would you ever fly there?
Forget it.
Too funny, dude. Dude, so I was thinking about this the other day about kind of like things that people do to protest, right? things that people do to protest. And one of them being the hunger strike.
Oh, yeah.
And I just don't understand the hunger strike, man. Like,
Well, it comes when people have no other way of protesting.
and I guess in order to do it,
It's usually prisoners.
right. So it's like, I'm going to end up dying and you're going to get in more trouble because I die. Is that the idea? Because I don't understand the idea of, oh, you're going to do that? Well, guess what? I'm not going to eat anything. Like, okay, dude, don't eat anything. You know what I mean?
It is what you said. So the famous hunger strikes were the Irish Republican Army, the IRA, when they had a number of young people who were imprisoned for their part in I think the London bombings that occurred, during the war, the Troubles.
Yes.
And there were these two sisters who led the movement. Fuck, I can't remember their names. But they were imprisoned, and these were sort of young. They became kind of rock stars in their protest, and they were locked away. And as a way of demonstrating what they saw as, unfair imprisonment and treatment, they went on a hunger strike. And the idea being that if they died in prison, it would look that much worse for the people who had imprisoned them.
They'd be martyrs.
Exactly. They become martyrs. But then what happens is the prison guards and the establishment and the politicians won't let them die.
Right.
And so they start force feeding them. And then what happens is they bring you down to a place and they take tubes and they shove them down your throat into your stomach and then pump nutrients into your body, and it's like it might even be through the nose into the stomach, and it's like there's a video on YouTube, by the way. Most Def?
Yeah.
So Most Def was, I think, trying to draw attention to how this happened to the prisoners in Abu Ghraib or Guantanamo, and he underwent the force feeding procedure.
Wow.
And it's really hard to watch.
Jesus.
It's not pleasant. I would not recommend people do it, but God, it makes you realize, like, I
Don't want to do
I would start eating again.
Yassine Bey is what he goes by now, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I think Gandhi, right, did the famous hunger strike?
Yeah. Yeah, there have been a number of high-profile people who did hunger strikes.
Interesting.
But, even if I had the will to not eat, honestly, the harder thing for me would be not having coffee.
Giving up your morning cup of Joe.
From Brooklyn Roasting Company. Like, I don't see how I could go without that.
I know.
And then what am I, a diva for having coffee but not eating lunch and dinner? Plus, I feel like I'd be just super wired. But I don't know. Brooklyn Roasting, their coffee keeps you nice and balanced.
Dude, I've made Hillary into a believer because she's sort of like a creature of habit, and she loved this sort of like blonde roast she was having from another place. And she ran out, and I had already been on the Brooklyn Roasting bandwagon. But now she has started to drink it and is realizing that she's been missing out this whole time.
Let me ask, she spends the night at your place, wakes up in the morning, sees Brooklyn Roasting Company. Is she coming back for more?
You bet your fucking ass.
Oh, I love it, especially when you signed a lease together. Where is she going to go?
Some hot mornings.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what coffee you have, but you're having Brooklyn Roasting, which is the best in the game. Join the Coffee of the Month Club.
That's
Guys,
awesome.
the subscription's awesome. They send you new fun. It's like a discovery. You never know what you're going to get. Also, obviously, we have to tell you about the peanut butter. We've told you about it before. Ooey gooey golly glop. Shit is crack. Someone
so good.
DM me and they'd gotten a couple, and he was like, it really is crack. It's like if crack got hooked on crack. Well said, sir.
Very good, sir.
Well, sir.
Very
Said.
good.
Use promo code OOPSBEANS. You'll get 5% off your order. Do it today. Don't delay. You'll love it. We promise. We stand by it. Huge fans.
Awesome. Let's get into an email. What do you say?
Yeah, please.
So I feel like we could potentially help this person out. We had said we wanted to discuss this one on the air. So here we go. This is titled Maybe Julio's Father Was Onto Something. And I think this is referring to my dad's sort of question about, is working so much actually worth it? I think that's what she means. That was in a past episode. Anyway, she goes, the men of oops, please bear with me as I am sleep deprived and currently living most of my life in an underground library like a mole person from I Am Legend. I am a rising third-year medical student, and this is about the time you have to decide what kind of doctor you wish to be to point your studies in the correct direction. Even as a child, I always envisioned myself a surgeon. As young as kindergarten, I wrote that I was going to be a plastic surgeon. Recently, though, while studying for a set of boards, I have come to a dilemma. For the past few years, I've spent all my nights and weekends studying for exams, always turning down social events with friends and family to accommodate my academic career. Most recently, I've spent, on average, 14 hours per day for 6 days a week in my school's basement library studying for boards.
Oh my God.
And dude, I don't think this is uncommon. I think most medical students that I've heard of, or that I know, say the same shit. This particular study pattern has been happening since the start of April. I am so exhausted from not living the life I should be at my age and exhausted from being miserable. I love medicine and science, but is it worth the cost of my happiness? I've been toggling with the idea to go forward in plastics, which entails 100+ hour work weeks, sleeping in hospitals, and really that life only relents in your mid-40s. Or do I become a primary care doctor and move to a beach town to surf and live my life happily? Yes, the salary difference is quite large. Let's say $200K compared to $500K. But what's the point of making $500K if you literally do not have time or energy to enjoy your hard-earned money? I guess this is more about coming to terms with letting go of a life I envisioned for myself. I know this is not as dramatic as a business to comedy jump, but this change, of course, is giving me trouble. Anyway, thanks for providing a place to vent for all your listeners. Love the pod. Also, if I fail / just pass boards this coming Monday, this will all be obsolete. To be a surgeon, your scores have to be the highest. Maybe fate will make the decision for me. What do we think?
Well, first of all, good luck.
Yes.
You know, I think she's come this far.
Yeah.
You know, you got to put your best foot forward.
Yeah.
At this point.
It sounds like that she's going to.
Yeah, she's going to. You know, it's a work-life balance question. I have some kind of weird doubts about the way that she has come to understand this, and I don't want to question her.
I feel the same way.
But
I think
I know plenty of plastic surgeons who don't work 100-hour work weeks.
Mm.
And I don't know if that's something you earn later in your career, but I didn't think that was a branch of medicine that required, you know, sleepless nights and procedures through the night. Right. And
so I wonder if quote plastics means what we think it does, though. Like, does that just mean like cosmetic surgery?
No, there's two types of, well, as I understand it, plastic surgery is breast augmentation. It's, you know, facial stuff.
It doesn't have to be cosmetic.
Correct.
Okay.
But it a lot of it is.
Right.
But then there's also plastic surgery that is, you know,
right, for people who have burns or like
and
breast
children
reductions.
with cleft palate that needed fixed, and you know, there's very
right.
quote unquote like noble, involuntary
totally
plastic surgery that's required. So, whatever. All of this is to say that, if you make it as simple as she's made it, which is like move to a surf town, be a primary care physician, making, you know,
a lot of money,
$300,000 less per year. I don't know.
Right. Like it is a field where your future is easy to predict to a degree, but like you said, you know, there has to be some nuance there.
Yeah.
Even just a little. And not to mention, she is in the depths of hell right now studying for boards.
Yeah, I think she needs to take a little more time to like kind of make this decision.
It's the worst time to make this decision.
I also think that, you know, $200,000 goes a long way in certain places, right? So $500K in New York, it's almost like making $200K in a certain other place.
Yeah.
So depending on where you want to live, I mean, dude, go on Zillow and look at $1 million house in
Austin,
rural Texas
yeah,
versus or I don't know, Maine
anywhere, and honestly,
versus
most places,
New York or Connecticut or fucking California,
San Francisco,
and
yeah.
it's nuts.
Yeah.
It's nuts what that difference is.
Yeah. I mean, bro, even in good city, like there's good, like amazing places where you can get that money goes so far.
Yeah, I think that if she can decide, it's really a question of what matters more to her. To me, the big questions she has to answer are, where do I want to live, and which medicine do I find more interesting?
Right. How passionate are you about it?
Yeah, and ignore the money thing because that can be sorted out through different hacks.
Mm-hmm.
Living in a cheaper place or, whatever it may be.
Totally. And she says something else interesting, which is sort of like, and I know some people who struggle with this, letting go of this idea that you always knew what you wanted. You know what I mean? It's not some kind of letdown if when you were 5, you thought you were going to be a surgeon, and now when you're 25, you realize you don't want to be. You don't have to be married to this narrative you've written for your life.
No.
You don't know the future. You don't know how your brain's going to evolve. You don't know what you're going to like, and you should be listening as opposed to like being married to this made up story.
Yeah. And also, you're going from plastic surgeon to primary care physician. It's not as if people are saying, oh, wow, she really let herself go.
Yeah.
Man, she really found the bottle.
Not at all.
Can't believe so much promise, and really all she ended up doing was being a primary care physicians are noble, honored, heroes in many ways.
And they make a lot of money, dude.
Perhaps even more than plastic surgeons.
And dude, there's no like negative portrayal of them in society either. It's not like being a public defender. You know what I mean? Not that there's anything wrong with that, but in movies they kind of portray a public defender as these kind of like ragtag guys who took them 8 times to pass the bar or whatever. Like, nowhere is a primary care physician portrayed in that light.
No.
They are very honored in our society. They are known to do very well.
Yeah.
It's a great job.
You've still gone through the same, fucking 5. I think the requirements is, well, maybe a little different, but it's still a slog through residency
Many years.
and specialization and all of that.
Better
and,
part of a decade.
Wouldn't you rather be detecting early bad signs of something in a kid and helping the family fight through that than having to strap on another pair of double G balloon boobs from some Beverly Hills bimbo, That's where my mind goes, at least. So,
yeah, this is very noble thinking. Good luck to you. We wish you the best.
Good luck.
Let us know. Keep it, let us know what you end up doing with this.
Yeah.
Because we would definitely like to hear.
I got one for you.
Love it.
I got one for you. I think you're going to like this one. All right. So I wrote about this on my Patreon too. But I want to bring it up here. So this guy said, Josh said, my girlfriend and I went out for dinner and drinks during our second night in Hawaii. We ended up having a lovely dinner and decided to get some ice cream afterwards. At the ice cream parlor, there were these delicious looking muffins. So naturally I ordered one. Before we left, I split the muffin in half and gently tossed one half to my girlfriend in a playful manner, hoping she would enjoy the muffin. This is when chaos erupted. She started yelling at me of how she is gluten-free and I could have caused her to go into anaphylactic shock. I apologized and claimed that could only happen if she ingested the muffin, not merely from skin contact. This argument lasted until we got back to our hotel room, where she proceeded to accuse me of gaslighting her. Shortly after, she asked me to leave the hotel with nowhere to go at 10 p.m. in Hawaii. While I was packing, I took back a diamond bracelet I gave her the day before. She proceeded to go into the bedroom and lock the door. While I continued gathering my belongings, I hear a knock on the door. It was a large man who was hotel security. She had called security to escort me off the property.
What?
He was a very nice gentleman, and we calmly left the building. In hindsight, I should have just left the bracelet, but I didn't think she deserved it. I mean, she had escorted me out of a hotel in the middle of the night, 1,500 miles from home, with nowhere to go.
This is his girlfriend?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Dude, first of all, if you're allergic in that degree to something, Hillary gives an anaphylactic shock from eating cashews. she knows that by touching it, she won't. Like, you know everything about your allergy if you're that severely allergic to something. For this girl not to know that, if she's actually that allergic to gluten, which I didn't know people were that allergic to gluten, say she is.
They're not.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I did some reading.
Good to know.
Celiac disease,
Yeah.
when you ingest gluten, does not cause you to go into anaphylactic shock. It's not how it manifests.
How long have these two been dating? This girl sounds like a complete moron. How is that gaslighting her? And how does she not already know that she can touch it?
What was interesting to me was that his response was, no, that only happens if you ingest it. But that was also wrong.
All right.
Right? So, like,
But in general, anaphylaxis, that's true, though, about food allergies.
yeah.
So maybe that's...
Wait, if Hillary touched a
She's
peanut.
It's fine. She can touch a cashew. She just can't eat it. She can't go in her mouth at all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which she knows very well. She knows everything, dude. She knows that she can eat stuff that's cooked in peanut oil because it burns the allergens. She knows which things she's more allergic to and which she knows
Yeah.
everything.
And you know everything.
And I know.
So
And I
you,
know everything.
You might throw a peanut at her as a joke, but you wouldn't aim it at her mouth.
And I just wouldn't, because, dude, we don't even have any of those kind of things in the house.
Right.
Because knowing that they're there. But I wouldn't even do that.
Okay.
And I also know that she might not be allergic to peanuts, because when she was a teenager, she got tested and it says she wasn't allergic. But because she never reintroduced it into her diet, there's a high likelihood that she, in fact, is allergic again. Like, I know so much about this.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I think what was interesting is that this guy's question was, am I right or wrong for taking back the bracelet? And all I can focus on is everything else in the story. It's the least important detail to me.
Being escorted by security.
It's so baffling.
Who was a very nice man, which leads me to believe that this is happening occasionally at this resort.
Here I am again. I know things can get tough when you get a muffin thrown at you, you know.
Here I am again.
I mean, there's so many questions I have. First of all, who the fuck buys a muffin at an ice cream store? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
like
true.
that. Those two things don't go hand in hand.
Yeah.
And then two, the whole fight erupts. They're in Hawaii. I just feel like if you're on a vacation together with your significant other in Hawaii, it would take so much more than this to have a kicking out of the hotel room breakup moment.
Totally,
there.
dude.
Hawaii is the place where you roll with the punches.
Totally.
Where you let everything go and you wash it. Just no big deal, you know.
Rest and relaxation.
Yeah.
And you can go to CVS and buy your favorite toothpaste.
Right.
Basquiat, I stole that from him. He said that, but whatever. It's the most chill place ever.
Basquiat said that?
He loved Hawaii, and he said that it was because it was so exotic, but you could buy your favorite toothpaste.
That's cool.
Which is interesting and true.
It'd be fun to own a Basquiat someday.
I know.
For $28 million.
Dude, I know.
All right. So then my question is this, though. I do have to ask. Is he right for taking that bracelet back?
Fuck yeah. Fuck that girl.
She'd owned it for a day.
Yeah. I don't understand how you get to the point where you're buying someone diamond bracelets and you're getting into this kind of fight with them.
I agree.
It's the stupidest. How have you guys never gotten into a fight this stupid already if you've been dating? How is this the first time you're educating her on her, quote, allergy that doesn't exist?
If you're shopping for diamond jewelry for your girlfriend and there's even a chance that if you lobbed a muffin top at her, she might kick you out of the hotel room, I feel like you're immediately telling the diamond salesman that, and then he's bringing you over to the $100 and below case of jewelry.
Dude, totally.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
That's the ballpark you're allowed to operate in if that's how volatile your relationship is.
Dude, I hate to say it, and I'm sure this isn't the case with these two, but this sounds like this guy's like 40 years older than this girl. He's buying her diamond bracelets, and they barely know each other. And
I
he's talking
actually
down to
think
her.
I actually think she was a lot older than he is.
Oh, jeez. What the fuck's happening?
It's a minefield, this one. It is.
This is a red flag. Stay away from this lady. I know it's only his side of the story,
Yeah.
but, you know.
I wonder, it'd be
Was
fun to
not
get
meant
the
to be.
response from her.
I know. She will just lay into me.
Yeah.
So funny, dude.
Well, that's Oops the podcast.
Yeah, that's it.
That's all we got for you today.
Enjoy the rest of summer. Let's hope that life can continue to progress back into normalcy. And we wish you all the best. Thank you for all of your thoughts. Email us anything you want to tell us. If you want advice, fuck it. Email us asking for advice. We don't even have to air it.
I'll be in really quick Springfield, Massachusetts at the MGM Roar Comedy Club on the Saturday of Labor Day weekend. That's coming right the fuck up.
Awesome.
So come out. Tickets at francisellis.com.